In our past couple of videos, we looked at mean, median, mode, and mid-range. And how do we find that for a data set when we have the data at our disposal? Here we're going to look at finding the mean when we have the frequency distribution at our disposal. So here, what we want to do is we are first going to find the class midpoints. Then we multiply those class midpoints from that first step by the frequency of that class. So we find the midpoints, we multiply the midpoints by the frequency associated with that class. Then we add all of those values that we found in step 2 together. And finally, we divide the sum found in step 3 by the total number of data values. As a formula, this might look, there's a variety of ways people might write this, but sigma is a sum of the frequency times the midpoint. So I'll use an x with a subscript of m all over the sum of the frequencies. Right? So that's how we can find the mean. Let's look at an example. We're going to use the data set that we had before in our last video with the Chiefs scores. However, here we're going to look at what is the mean when we just have this frequency distribution. So 3 times the difference was between 10 and 19, so we find the midpoint of that class. To find that midpoint, we take 10 plus 19 over 2 to find the midpoint. 10 plus 19 over 2, that's going to be 14.5. The next one, 20 plus 29 over 2 is 24.5. And then we have 34.5. We will jot down the frequency for each of those classes. And then we're going to take this midpoint here, the 14.5, times that frequency of 3. So 14.5 times 3 gives us 43.5. 24.5 times 3 is going to give us 73.5. And 34.5 times 1 gives us 34.5. So thus far we have found the class midpoints. We multiplied the class midpoints by the frequency, and we added those values. So the last thing we have to do, oh, we haven't added those values. I lied. So we need to add those values. So we're going to take the 43.5 plus the 73.5 plus the 34.5 to get 151.5. I'm going to also add up the second column, the frequency column. That adds up to 7. So then our mean, that value of x bar, this is an approximation. It's approximately 151.5 over 7. So 151.5 divided by 7 gives us something like 21.6 points. So using a frequency distribution, we found our mean to be approximately 21.6 points. In our last video, we found the mean was actually 18 points. And so we're off by 3.6 points. Our difference there of 3.6 out of 18 is like 0.2. So that's like a 20% difference, which is pretty large. So I would say this is not a very good estimate. You could look at the data set and try to come up with reasons why this might not be this didn't give us a good estimate for this particular data set using this distribution. All right, next time we're going to look at measures of variation. We will see you there.